Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And as I promised from my last duel series, I'm here to give you my mono earth deck, the one that I was testing in those matches. And since then I've taken this to two of my locals. And the first one, it wasn't really like a tournament. It was more like a round robin thing. We didn't have enough people, but Cool Stuff was nice enough to let us play. And I won 3 straight there, all against water variants. Like it was mono water, water ice, and then water lightning. So that did very well. And then just this past week, earlier this week, I also did it was a small tournament. It was like 8 people, I think. So 3 rounds, another 3 rounds. I went 2-1, I guess. But that last one was close. It was really good. The deck is obviously, I'm telling you this because I guess I want to say is that the deck's performing really well, I think. I would have liked to play top 4 out, but I had to go to work. So, unfortunately, that's just the way it works. So I guess what I want to say is that the deck's more than tested. Like I showed you guys in the duel series. I know I lost a couple of duels there. And then I mentioned that the Hecatan share was like a misplay. So I probably would have lost that one too. But as I've come to play this deck a lot more, and I see the plays more, and just the practice overall makes me feel more comfortable with it, and the element as well. And that's kind of why I want to talk about it. So in the title, I call it's Mono Earth. It's Mono Earth Swarm, and what I want to say about that is that that's kind of the mentality you want to go when playing this deck. Pretty much because you want to overrun the board and get the points of damage. After I just go over the cards with you, of course I'm going to show you the combos, or I guess the play style a little bit, just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But with that being said, let's just get into the deck. I have triple Yang here. It's pretty staple-ish if you're using the Yang Ursula combo. I think the value of this card is never going to go away, honestly. When you resolve its effects, 2 9Ks, 1 with Brave. That's a great opening turn, and it's one of the hands you want to shoot for when you draw your opening hand or whatever. You want to get the Yang Ursula combo, or you want to get backups and the Psychon Mordens. Next is I'm only playing 2 wool. Unfortunately, I only own 2 wool, so kind of my Genesis problem at the moment. I have been getting price support or whatever from the locals, but I'm just holding that as store credit for the time being because I'm waiting for the sneak peek in July. I think it's going to be July 8th or something. Yeah, like the week before, the set comes out on July 15th or something. I don't know. And then I'm playing double Rabanne. This card is still, really good as in terms of an out. I have a few outs in this deck, and they all do what they're supposed to. I've proven them, I've used them over time, and like I said, the deck's performing. I like double Rabanne. The minors help me bring it back if I need it, so I don't think I need any more than 2. I guess drawing it might be nice, but I've liked the way the consistency works. I always have it in my hand. I've never had a problem where I've only probably minored for it twice out of maybe the 4 dozen games I've played with this deck already. And now the main card I want to talk about is Gipple. And I know I mentioned this a lot in the Duel series, but this card is probably what makes this deck feel like a Swarm deck. And when I think of terms in Swarm deck, it's not only just bodies, but it's it's overwhelming bodies. Is that kind of making it hard for your opponent to deal with. So there's how can I put it? There's aggro decks or whatever. They want to sneak in as many points of damage. But this deck almost feels like an aggro deck in that sense where, if you open up Yang Ursula, you have 2 bodies. It's very likely that you'll get 2 points of damage in the first turn. And then one of them will be Brave, so it's not like they're going to be able to hit you back should you be fighting another aggro deck or like a similar aggro deck or something like that. So Gipple is there to just help push for game, and it's, like I said, when you have enough 2 to 4 forwards and you summon Gipple, that's just going to be 2 extra points damage, or your opponent's going to have to block and lose his forwards and lose whatever momentum he had. So, Gipple's a great card to have right now, I think. I'm going to consider him playing him in other, when I switch up. So I've been playing Mono Earth, so I'm going to switch up into a Earth other color. I'm not sure which one to pick yet. But Gipple will definitely be in there for that reason. I'm playing triple Dataluma because there's a lot of lightning in my locals usually. You all know who I'm talking about, but there's others too, obviously. But there's a lot of lightning regular at my locals, and that's another thing I'm going to go into probably in our next podcast. When you build a deck, you build to your locals and stuff like that. And unfortunately, at the moment, this build will be running triple Daraluma because of the lightning in my locals. And if you wanted to going forward, if you wanted to make a change, you could obviously cut one Daraluma for something else, something you felt would fit your playstyle or your local playstyle, whatever that may be. And I'm playing triple Psychon Morden. The reason you guys, I was first very skeptical of this card, but going into it and playing it, obviously I see the value in the card and the potential. And it's also the other part of this deck that gives it that swarm aspect. And now triple Angus. So this card is great also for two reasons. One, because it buffs, obviously, and it saves Rabanne when you play it. But the other reason I like this card is because we have a lot of stuff that keeps our cards brave here. And when everything's brave, you can always reactivate his second ability to you. I think it's Dole 3, and then you can buff something by 2,000. So the fact that your forwards are all going to stand strong, like when you have so you attack normally with Yang first, and then let's say you had Wool give something brave, you'll attack with that one first, and then you have Momori give something brave too. That's 3 braves that have already attacked, and so when something else weaker attacks, for example, Angus himself attacks, he can dole those brave characters, so he wins trades and he wins the fights and stuff like that. And it's one of the important things that people overlook, I guess. I've said before, and I know I've said it before, but a lot of people always overlook these new Warrior of Lights, the orphans, if you will, their secondary abilities. Like, I don't often see Refia use her, Dole 5 cards to send something back to your hand, or, Arc use the thing to make something unblockable, or whatever they may be. And I definitely don't see enough Luneth altogether. So, but Angus' ability in this deck is very strong. So that's why I feel like I have to play him at 3. And triple Ursula, obviously for the Yang Ursula combo. And I find myself using her S ability a lot more. It's risky. It's super risky too, but whatever. And then the one Onion Knight. I'm going to go into the Onion Knight a lot more in the combos portion of this video, but this card is amazing when it has access to so much Brave. And if you guys know, if you've ever played the card or you know what its potential is, you probably know what I'm getting at. But again, I'll get to that later. I'm playing 2 Flandit. Now, I learned about this card, or at least how strong it could be, back in Boston. I don't think I didn't play against it, but I did test against it, and so it's a little annoying, honestly, to deal with. But if you're ever in a situation where you're not drawing your forwards, or you're kind of waiting for that Gipple play, Flandit's a great card to kind of help out, neutralize your opponent's board in a sense. And what I mean by that is that it helps dictate what your opponent's going to do on his turn and on your turn, as well as reduce the amount of overall CP they have available to them in situations that you're going for game. And I've won because of this card. Just controlling my opponent's board in that sense. I don't necessarily think I would change it, but I don't know. I've liked it. I've liked the way it's been, performing in these last couple of weeks. Going into the backups. They're all pretty self-explanatory. I'm not going to go over them in too much detail. But we have Geomancer, give Braves to something. We have Mog, help search out the key pieces. I find I don't use it as often, but the reason I'm running Mog is helpful for when you have the 2 Wool, the 2 Rabanne, and the 2 Gibble. And if you do change out the Daraluma, you have the 2 Daraluma. But those are, as well as needing the Yang and Ursula. You can always find that last piece that you need. You understand? Like that's what the Mog's there for. So wherever you are in the game at the moment, like let's say you have the Yang but you're missing the Ursula, Mog it. If you have all the other pieces, if you have Anacross and you have Angus on board and you need the Rabanne, play the Rabanne. So if you're ready for Warrior of Light Wool to start making his. If you're worried about the EX burst, then search the Wool. You know what I'm saying? And we also have Triple Monk. It's just power and brave, obviously, at the end of the day, but that's part of it. Triple and a cross, and she's just your regular banner. I'm playing 2 Momodi. Momodi's a really great card in terms of CP or value, because it's you pay 0 to give something brave. So I feel like you have to find that CP saving over time when you're playing Earth, and Momodi's the best thing for that. So is Wolves. Those are 2 cards that give a lot of value, a lot more value than you can afford in an Earth deck, I think. Triple Miner. Miner's the same reason, same thing. You'd pitch. The way I think about Miner is the way I play Devout. When you pay for Devout, when you're playing Ice, I normally pitch forwards, 4 cost or less forwards, so Devout is live immediately. And so the value there is already, that of a 4-star, 4 CP card. And so Miner's the same way, but in the sense that you get something back immediately, but you would pitch backups in order to play it, or at least one backup. You don't want to lose value with something else because you're not. I wouldn't pitch any summons for this. You understand? Or even my monsters. It would have to be backups primarily, and then forwards, because you would get it back always, in one way or another. Like with his ability, you get back the forward later, and when you play it, you get back the backup right away. And so that's what I'm talking about, value there. And I'm playing 1 Sara. This is another card that I like and has come out at least twice. I think it should come. I wish it would come out more, honestly. I feel like I just don't draw it, or I draw it at the worst times. Like I open with it and I end up pitching it right away. But getting Angus or Wool back in later in the game is obviously very important. I think this will probably be the only card I change. I'm not sure what I would put instead yet, so I've left it there for you guys. If you guys test this out, and you feel that Sara is also an important, please let me know what you would change for it, or what you prefer for it. But like I said, since I'm only playing 2 Wool, I feel like I needed a 3rd one, or the ability to get a 3rd one back. And so that was important to me, so I put that in there. And I'm playing 2 Shantou. I've wanted to fit in the 3rd one, but it's just they get too cloggy, and I don't want to. I like playing with 2. I've never liked playing with 3 of this card. But Shantou is also very important to this deck, and again in the combos I'll go over that. The summons were just simple, triple cockatrice. I've come to appreciate cockatrice a lot more, mainly because of the fact that it does stop attacks on the EX burst, and so that's cool. And then it also helps me save my forwards, which I like to do a lot, obviously. But Hecaton Share, when you do Gibble, this card helps you get a lot more value out of it. Same thing with Rabanne and stuff. So those are part of your outs. And then I'm playing 2 of the other Hecaton Share because I don't like Maria and other stuff like that. And it's just there for the just in case. You know what I mean? I always find myself pitching it. I've used it more than at least twice, but one time was illegal, and you guys remember if you guys saw the video. But yeah, so I like it at 2. I would not change that part. It's there. It comes in handy when it comes in handy, but it's not important, if that makes sense. And I don't know if I should go into that mentality when building a deck, but that's just the way I feel. But yeah, so that's the deck, guys. Like I said, it's a little. The concept behind it is you want to swarm, you want to get the board out, and then you want to just keep everyone brave and swing for points. And now we will go into the combos.
Alright guys, so now onto the combo portion of this video. It's going to be pretty simple for the most part. So I'll go over some of the basics, I guess the playstyle and stuff you want to remember when you're playing this. We'll start with the Rabanne thing. I'm going to replace Miner here for a sec with the N across. And the important thing is here, you need to have both of these for this play. I'm sure you guys you're aware of this, but for some of my viewers here, if you don't know, I want to show you. So when you put Rabanne out, Rabanne will deal 9,000 to 2 forwards. Because you have 2 banners, you have Angus powering them up to 9 and Enna powering them up to 10. he will take 9,000, but he's at 10k, so he'll live. So that'll allow you to break a forward while deploying a forward and still keeping him alive. You could also cockatrice in response to him if you so felt the need, but that's a kind of a little waste of a cockatrice. And if you don't, and if he doesn't die, if you're planning on blowing up one thing that's about 9k and you have something else that's about 8k or even another 9, something weaker than his power, you can also just hecaton share here and then one forward, and then this effect will resolve and deal 9k to another forward. Of course, if your opponent removes your Rabanne from his, this is like a null play, but you still force them to exhaust resources. So that's that. The second one is just, I guess, for the Gipple. The Gipple play is probably, like I mentioned a couple times, is one of the most important ones. So let's say you had your Yang Ursula and then your triple Psychoms or whatever. I'll pull some out just for you guys. And they're at 7k, 8k in this scenario, 7 with each other and 8 with the Enna. And then, you have two 10ks here. But your opponent's kind of just like has a big board and you're down to whatever. You always play the Gipple, and then they'll be at from 8 to, they'll go to 12, and these will go to 14. And then the other way too is like if you find yourself pitching the Gipple throughout the day, you can always just minor, pitch for minor, and then get Gipple back. They'll never expect it. They're like, oh, he's pitching those, but remember, minor can always get back forwards, and so he'll just sub to play and then buff everybody. So that's that one. The other thing I guess would be, it's really just the Onion Knight play. This is the one I was talking about. So there's a couple ways to do it. As long as you have Momori, you could even do it with wool, if you could. So usually what will happen at some point in the game, your opponent will probably attack early. This can happen early on too, especially if you got like a couple Braves already. They'll swing with both of their forwards and leave themselves open. And what we do as Earth players is we'll usually keep wool, give him Brave and No Experts to kind of keep him on the offensive as well as the defensive. But what you could do in this scenario too is you'll deploy Onion Knight. Onion Knight can you have Momori give him Brave. And then he can attack. Onion Knight, you'll take a point of damage. Onion Knight's effect to bring him back. You could, if you had the CP for it, of course, you could pitch for Geomancer. Geomancer does not break, so you can always have give things Brave at any point as long as you offer 2 CP, 1 Earth and 1 neutral, and then you'll swing again, and then you could always tap another one and then give him back. That's 3 points of damage right there. And then plus this. If you had enough CP, other than that, like let's say you had a minor, you could tap and then still pay for Brave here, and send this to the grave for 4. That would be another like point of damage. So what you want to do is you want to hold on to the Onion Knight all the time when you see this opportunity. When you're able, one of the best plays to do it, one of the best times to do it is, let's say your opponent like has a board or whatever. They have a big board, and then they're like, you have a few cards in your hand, you'll swing, and they'll give it to you for the most part. They'll give you that one. Then you'll just Shantou, blow up the board, and then you'll Onion Knight. And then if you have, Momori or Geomancer or Monk or whatever, that's two points of damage right there. So Brave, swing, bring it back. Brave, swing, bring it back, and then 3 points of damage. See, there's his effect allows him to bring himself back. So that's the important part here. You want to remember that. But yeah, I think that wraps up the basics of this deck. I know it's not long, but it's just a regular Earth deck. You remember, you want to swarm as fast as you can. So if you open up Yang Ursula, that's great. Or if you open up a backup, any 2-cost, or even minor and 2-cost backups and a Psychom, that's your opening hands. So yeah, I hope this helps. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think. Yeah, and I will catch you guys later.